Welcome to the RSP Boiler Room. I'm Matt Waldman with the Rookie Scouting Portfolio. We're going to take a look at Maryland running back Ty Johnson. He's an excellent kick returner with good speed and notable acceleration. Watch him just plant his foot in the ground and just take off there. It's a really nice job. I mean, you can really notice how explosive he is in that short area of the field within that first 5 to 10 yards. And it takes a safety with good leverage over the top to be able to bring him down eventually on this play. And there's some pretty decent footwork in action here too. You can see the defender who's getting a push upfield. Johnson's able to dip away from him last minute, get outside a second man, and then set up this block with the receiver on the left side by planting and cutting downhill. I mean, really turning those hips and driving through. It's just a really nice example of good footwork and acceleration and explosion, just really good athletic ability. So this is the strength of Johnson's game, is his acceleration and his ability to set up some blocks with some, what I would say is decent footwork. But that footwork can get better. And if he wants to play in the NFL at a high level, it's going to have to get better. So we're going to take a look at a few plays where there's examples of where he can get better. Here's one of them where he bounces outside successfully for a gain of about, 4 or 5 yards here. Doesn't look like a bad play. You can see that he beats the safety to the outside, just barely though. So let's watch where he can get better with it. First, watch where he makes that plant. See how he leaps forward towards the line of scrimmage as he's reading the inside penetration here. Really, one of the things that he could do is take shorter steps and actually bounce this out a little bit earlier. He should be reading this really right about here. He should notice that the penetration's coming. He can see where that is. If he's reading that just a little bit quicker, he didn't have to hop into this. He could actually bounce it outside. So he could be a step earlier with that bounce. And if he is a step earlier with that bounce, it probably means that he's a step further away from this safety who nearly grabs him here. So that's one thing that he can do, is read a little bit earlier, keep his strides a little bit shorter, and when he changes direction, just plant the foot in the ground like right here and turn the hips as opposed to hopping and turning the hips. But part of that is reading the field a little bit faster, reading those blocks. Now here's a more advanced version of footwork that he should have to learn, and this is a counter play where on the surface it looks like he does a good job because number 82 doesn't get around the first puller, number 70, well enough to take on this edge defender. And Johnson reads that, bounces it inside, lowers the pads, drives forward, and gets 3 yards out of something that could have been a bad situation. But think about Arian Foster or David Montgomery, the Iowa State running back. One of the things that they do really well is vary their footwork. Watch him with this next 2 steps to the left. See how he hops twice on that left foot? That helps him press that lane and still make a dramatic cutback, because if he had to alternate his steps, he would have had to take an extra step than he did to make that cutback to the outside. And as you can see here, he kind of bounces it inside where he could have hopped off of his left foot a couple of times in the way that Montgomery and Arian Foster are known to do. See where right there, this step, instead of taking the step with the right foot that he's about to make, knowing that he spots the defender in space on the edge and 82 not getting around, he could hop one more step on that left foot and be a little bit closer to 82 and then drive off that foot to be able to work outside of this and have the angle and the block. Because if you think about just one more step, right here is where he'd probably be planting, and he'd be inside. The defender's committed to this inside shoulder. He'd be able to work outside here and have a pretty good angle. And while it's more of an advanced move, and you can't fault him for taking what he has here. He might be able to get a bigger play because how strong his acceleration is, and the fact that he has pretty good feet to begin with. He just has to get a little bit more adept with a variety of footwork patterns. And we're going to see another footwork pattern that is good. It's a more conventional one that he does well. And here's that pattern in slow motion. You're going to see him chop his steps a little bit, drop the weight to get downhill and bend his knees, plant and break inside, and then stutter again with two short steps, and then break back to the outside to get around number 90. It's a nice play all in all. So you can see that some of those ladder drills are taking effect here in what he's doing with his feet. But he just needs to work on some different variations. And if he can do that, he may have more success on certain plays bouncing them outside or setting up blocks that are designed to go outside and giving them a little bit more time so that he can take advantage of them. Thanks again for watching. For more RSP Boiler Room videos, you can check out my YouTube channel, Matt Waldman's RSP Film Room, and my site, www.mattwaldmanrsp.com.